This is the incredible story of Queen Esther, a story of courage, faith, sacrifice, and God's unseen hand at work. Long ago, during the reign of the mighty Persian king, ruled over 127 provinces stretching from India to Ethiopia. His kingdom was powerful, wealthy, and feared throughout the ancient world. One day, after hosting a magnificent royal banquet, the king commanded his beautiful queen to appear before his guests. But to everyone's surprise, she refused. The king was furious. His advisors feared that Vashti's actions would inspire women throughout the empire to disobey their husbands. As a result, Vashti was removed as queen, and a search began for the most beautiful young woman in the kingdom to become the new queen. Far away from the palace lived a young Jewish orphan named Esther. After losing her parents, she was lovingly raised by her older cousin. Esther was not only beautiful, but also humble, wise, and kind. When the king's officials gathered young women from across the empire, Esther was taken to the royal palace. Mordecai gave her one important instruction: do not reveal that you are Jewish. For months, Esther prepared herself before meeting the king. When her turn finally came, she found favor not only with the palace attendants, but also with the king himself. The king loved Esther more than all the other women. He placed the royal crown upon her head, and the orphan girl became the queen of Persia. But while Esther enjoyed life inside the palace, danger was growing outside its walls. One day, Mordecai uncovered a plot by two palace guards who planned to assassinate the king. He informed Esther, who reported it to the king. The conspiracy was stopped, and the event was carefully recorded in the royal records. Little did anyone know that this forgotten act would later change history. Soon after, a proud and powerful official named was promoted above all the other nobles. Everyone bowed before Haman, everyone except Mordecai. As a faithful Jew, Mordecai refused to bow to a man as though he were worthy of worship. Haman's pride turned into burning hatred. But he didn't want revenge against Mordecai alone. He wanted every Jew in the Persian Empire destroyed. Using deception, Haman convinced the king to issue a decree ordering the destruction of all Jewish people on a chosen day. The royal seal made the law impossible to reverse. Fear spread throughout the Jewish communities. Men, women, and children fasted, prayed, and mourned. When Mordecai heard the news, he tore his clothes, dressed in sackcloth, and cried aloud outside the palace gates. Esther learned of his sorrow and sent servants to discover what had happened. Mordecai sent her a copy of the king's decree and pleaded with her to go before the king and beg for mercy. Esther hesitated. No one may enter the king's presence without being invited, she explained. Anyone who does so may be put to death unless the king extends his golden scepter. Then Mordecai sent back words that have inspired believers for generations. Do not think that because you are in the king's palace, you alone will escape. If you remain silent at this time, deliverance will arise from another place. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Those words changed Esther forever. She replied, gather all the Jews in the city. Fast for me for 3 days and 3 nights. I and my servants will do the same. Then I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. After 3 days of fasting, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace. The king looked toward her. For a moment, everything hung in the balance. Then he smiled. He stretched out the golden scepter. Esther's life was spared. Instead of making her request immediately, Esther invited the king and Haman to a special banquet. During the first banquet, she invited them to another one the following day. Meanwhile, Haman was delighted by the queen's invitation. But when he again saw Mordecai refusing to bow, his anger returned. His family advised him to build a huge wooden gallows and asked the king to execute Mordecai the next morning. That very night, however, the king could not sleep. He ordered the royal records to be read aloud. As they were read, the king discovered that Mordecai had once saved his life but had never been rewarded. Early the next morning, Haman arrived, planning to request Mordecai's execution. Before Haman could speak, the king asked him, what should be done for the man whom the king delights to honor? Thinking the king meant him, Haman described an extravagant public celebration. To his horror, the king replied, excellent. Do all of that for Mordecai the Jew. The man Haman hated most was now honored throughout the city, while Haman himself was forced to lead the celebration. At the second banquet, Esther finally revealed the truth. She told the king that she was Jewish and that someone had planned to destroy her people and her. The king demanded, "Who would dare do such a thing?" Esther pointed directly at Haman. "The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman." The king's anger exploded. When he learned about the gallows Haman had built for Mordecai, he ordered that Haman himself be executed on those very gallows. Although Persian law could not cancel the original decree, the king issued a new one allowing the Jewish people to defend themselves. When the appointed day arrived, the Jews defeated those who sought to destroy them. What had been planned as a day of mourning became a day of victory, celebration, and joy. To remember this miraculous deliverance, the Jewish people established the Feast of Purim, a celebration that continues to this day. The story of Esther reminds us that even when God is never mentioned by name in the book, His hand is working behind every event. He can raise ordinary people for extraordinary purposes. He can turn impossible situations into victories. And He can place you exactly where you need to be for such a time as this. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. May God bless you, and we'll see you in the next Bible story.